Hello friends, welcome to the channel. Today we are continuing our series of chapter Plant Kingdom, and today we are dealing with the third lecture of it, in which we will be discussing about pteridophytes and gymnosperms. Now first of all, discussing about the pteridophytes, the most common examples of these are ferns and horsetails, and also they are known as the reptiles of plant kingdom. Now the most amazing feature of pteridophytes is that they are the first terrestrial plants to have vascular tissues, and also they are found in cool, damp and shady places. Now let's see about the plant body, about their plant body. Now their main plant body is sporophyte, and sporophyte is diploid, that is its ploidy level is 2n. Now they are differentiated into true stem, roots and leaves. And their leaves are of two types, small and large. Now the small leaves are called as microphylls, while the large leaves are called as macrophylls. The example of small leaves, that is microphylls, is Selaginella, and the example of large macrophylls is fern. Now a most important point, that sporophytes bearing sporangia are called as sporophylls, and sporophylls form compact distinct structures which are called as strobili or cones, and these are present in Selaginella and Equisetum. These were the two examples. Now sporangia undergoes meiosis in order to form spores, which further undergoes division to form prothallus. And what is prothallus now? Now the identification of prothallus is very important. Prothallus requires cool, shady and damp regions for its growth. This is the main reason why the pteridophytes are constricted to a narrow geographical region. Now prothallus is inconspicuous, small, mostly photosynthetic, multicellular and thalloid gametophyte. Their gametophytes have male sex organ and female sex organ. The male sex organ is called as antheridia, while the female sex organ is called as the archegonia. Now here the zygote is a multicellular and a well differentiated sporophyte. This was a very known thing, that it is a multicellular and well differentiated sporophyte, right? Now again they are constricted into two types, that is homosporous and heterosporous. Homosporous are the similar kind of spores produced, and heterosporous in which the spores are of different kinds. Now the heterosporous have macrospore and microspores, and its example can be Selaginella and Salvinia. Now three important points about the pteridophytes which have come under previous years as well. That first point, that the female gametophytes are retained on parental sporophyte for variable periods. First point. Second one is the development of zygote takes place inside the female gametophyte. This was asked in 2011. And the another point which was asked in 2019, which is latest, is that this event serves as a precursor to seed habitat, which is considered as an important point or an important statement in evolution. Now we are going to see the examples of pteridophytes, and its examples also have certain categories such as Psilopsida, Lycopsida, Sneopsida and Pteropsida. First of all, let's talk about the example of Psilopsida. Psilopsida has an example of Psilotum. Lycopsida has an example of Selaginella and Lycopodium. Sneopsida has Equisetum, while the Pteropsida has Dryopteris, and the Adiantum. Now there are certain uses of pterids as well. Certain uses of pterids are that these pteridophytes are medicinal purpose, are of great importance to medicinal purpose. Another point, that they serve as very important soil finders, and they are grown as ornamentals as well. These were the three uses of it. Now you must have seen the diagrams which are present in NCERT of chapter Pteridophytes, of chapter Plant Kingdom under Pteridophytes. Now under that, the most important diagram is of equisystem consisting and strobilus, which was asked in previous years as well. Now let us all discuss about the gymnosperms. Now the gymnosperm's name itself suggests or is derived from two parts, that is gymno and sperms. Gymno means naked while sperms means seeds. It clearly indicates that these seeds are naked or their ovules are not enclosed by the ovary wall, and their ovules before fertilization or after fertilization are not covered, and the another point that their seeds are not covered. These were the basic features of the gymnosperms. Now they include from medium-sized trees to tall trees as well as shrubs, medium-sized shrubs or small-sized shrubs. Now the giant redwood tree, which is the tallest species in the world, is your sequoia, and the smallest species is jamia. Now the roots of some gymnosperms consists of fungal association, which is called as mycorrhiza, that is found in case of pinus, and certain coralloid roots are present in cycas, which has the nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria are present in it. Now here the stems are of two types, that is branched and unbranched. Branched has pinus as well as cedrus, while the unbranched example is cycas. Now their leaves are of two types, simple as well as compound. Let's discuss some glimpse about cycas. In case of cycas, the leaves are pinnate and persists for few years, and the leaves are also well adapted for extreme conditions such as your temperature, humidity, wind, etc. In case of conifers, there are needle-like leaves present in order to decrease the rate of transpiration, and there is thick cuticle and sunken stomata present so as to help to reduce the surface area. Now gymnosperms are heterosporous. This is a very important statement, that gymnosperms are heterosporous. They produce haploid microspores and megaspores. There are two kinds of spores produced within the sporangia borne on sporophylls, which are arranged in the spirally bearing axis to form the lax or compact strobili or combs. Now we are going to discuss something very important, that the strobili which is bearing microsporangia, which is bearing microsporophylls, are called as microsporangiate, and the strobili which is bearing macrosporophylls are called as megasporangiate. Now the microsporangiate are also called as male strobili, while the megasporangiate is also called as the female strobili. Now one of the megaspores develops into the female gametophyte, which bears nearly two or more archegonia or female sex organs on it. The multicellular female gametophyte is also retained within the microsporangium, megasporangium. Now the male and female gametophytes does not have any independent existence here. This is an important point that is certain times asked. Now pollen grains are released from microsporangium, and with the help of air currents, ovules which are opening borne on megasporophylls. This is asked, that ovules opening borne on, that is its answer is megasporophylls. Now the pollen tube containing male gametes grows towards the female reproductive part, that is the archegonia, and discharges its contents over its or near to its mouth, and after the fertilization occurs. Now following fertilization, what is the development? The zygote develops into embryo while ovules develops into naked seeds. Not seeds. Answer is not seeds. Here the answer will be naked seeds, because this is the category of gymnosperms. Certain examples can be seen under gymnosperms such as ginkgo, pinus, cycas, and you must have also seen the structure or the diagram of Pinus cycas majorly. And let me tell you one another thing, that Cycas is a dioecious while Pinus is monoecious. And Cycas also has some importance in the fossil part, right? Fossil history. Now, in this video till here only. Now in the next video, we will be dealing with the angiosperms and the plant life cycles. Thank you.